I'm back. I hope.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. We're really having a technical difficulty, but
Hey, there we go.
we're good to go. So here we go. Hello, Steffany. Hello, Jadene. Good to see everybody. Thanks for being, and thanks attendees for just logging on again. We're here, we're ready to roll. So thank you all for taking time out of your Tuesday night, and I promise it's gonna be worth your time. So here we go. Ariel, I know it kicked you out, dude. It kicked us all out. So make sure that all of you are familiar with your meeting controls before we get rolling. So if you look up at your top under the meeting, make sure you say always show meeting controls. So click down on window, and that'll make sure that even if you go to the big view, you'll still be able to see the meeting controls. And that's what's really going to make this an amazing experience, is you guys interacting with us, going back and forth with chats and with Q&As. So I'll be managing the chat room. So just be really confident that if you put something in there, I'll make sure it gets to Steffany, and I make sure that I'll ask her straight out. But let me know if you don't want me to use your name. If you don't want me to use your name, no problem. I'll just keep it completely anonymous. And just so you know, all of the polls are completely anonymous. So feel free to really, get vulnerable, tell the truth, and we'll speak to the polls, but not specifically to each one of you. So thank you for being here. Again, my name is Vanessa Hedinger, and I'm so excited to be your host today. I'm the General Manager and Master Instructor for Quantum Speed High Performance Skating Systems. And what that is, guys, is a hockey development system that Steffany and I actually started almost 20 years ago. I know, I don't look it, but anyway, it's a hockey development system, and we're here with our partner, Jadene Ferreira. And Jadene Ferreira runs Skating Success, which is also a skating development system. And if you'll, go with me for a minute on this one, Steffany is the connector of all of those things. She understands process and system and growth and development, and has replicated the same systems and ideas with Quantum Speed as with Skating Success. So Jadene is a world-class choreographer. She is a social media guru and queen. She is the owner-founder of Rise and Shine every 8 a.m. at Facebook, and also part of the Coaches Circle. So she manages or administrates the Coaches Circle on Facebook, which is a huge support for coaches, figure skating coaches. And her and I trade ideas and knowledge and friendship on the daily. So thank you for being here, Jadene. And with no further ado, Steffany Hanlen. So Steffany Hanlen is, like I said, my partner, business partner in Quantum Speed, but she's got quite the list of accomplishments. So she's an innovator. She's a trailblazer. She's somebody that has not only worked in the NHL as the first female skating coach in the NHL and strength and conditioning coach. She was also part of 2 Olympic Games, and is a part of the IM School of Skating out in Montreal with Marie-France and Patrice. And I think they're on here today too. And hi guys, love you, miss you. So for over 30 years, Steffany has dedicated herself to the growth and leadership of high-end businesses, 2 retail stores, ProSkate, 2 elite on-ice skating development systems, Quantum Speed and Skating Success. She's a performance coach, an inspirational speaker, a facilitator with a varied and vast scope of experience and expertise. She coaches an international community of elite athletes and entrepreneurs committed to elevated performance. It continues. In 1991, she broke a barrier as the NHL's first paid female skating coach. She is a 2-time Olympic coach, 2006 Olympics in Torino and 2018 in Pyeongchang, and is preparing athletes for the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, China, with the IM Ice Academy of Montreal. She breaks trails, then she creates paths for people to expand their personal and professional skills for contribution in life and business through their very intentional and mindful process of leading others to perform and live their highest values from the inside out. So Steffany, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with us this very most important topic of managing adversity and navigating chaos. Now, this is not a new topic. It's something that you've been talking about for years. And as long as I've known you, this has been a conversation that you and I have been having. And thank you for that, because I had like a couple adversities lately, like no big deal. And I'm navigating them. It's all good. So I appreciate your leadership in my life. And I'm really looking forward to what you can share with all of these amazing young athletes and young people, as well as their parents, on their own champions journey. So thank you, Steffany. To you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Jadene. Welcome, everybody. It's amazing to be here and to be able to use technology to communicate, especially during this time of a little bit of isolation, and the ability to connect and see each other's faces and get a sense of where we're at. Oh, just let me turn my little thing. Everybody see that behind me? Can you read that? It's your champion's journey. It is. So navigating chaos, managing chaos, navigating adversity, embracing it, bringing it in. That is a conversation that I'm built for. It's everything that I've done in my entire career is because none of this has been easy. None of this has been easy, but it's been amazing. And every time I embrace or bring in an adversity or learn to navigate chaos, meaning maybe an NHL dressing room with a bunch of guys that didn't want me there, there's a little bit of chaos that can happen. So learning to navigate that has actually helped me define and identify my own values and who I am and what I stand for. And then from that place, I'm committed to coaching that, to leading that, and to just living that in my life. So it's an opportunity right now during this time of adversity and a little bit of chaos, if you can agree, that we can have this conversation and get grounded in what we're about to talk about.
Great. So will you help us set an intention, please, Steffany?
Absolutely. Well, any of you who are on this call that know me is that we don't start any meeting or any conversation without setting intention. It can be out loud, it can be personal, it can be shared amongst whoever you're sitting watching this webinar with. So set your own intention. I invite you to grab a glass of water, grab a pen, a paper, a pencil, pen to paper. Really connect paper today. If you want to use your device, that's fine, but do something different. It's been a long time since I wrote my goals on a piece of paper. So I've been doing that recently, and it's really made a difference just in getting myself grounded. So I'd like you to set an intention for what you want to get out of this webinar. For us, for me, it's a contribution. It's a way for me to connect and to give my gift and to share with the people that of like mind that I care about, that maybe, just maybe, a possibility that something that happens today might help you navigate some of your adversity and harness some of what's available to us right now in times of strife. So take a second, take a breath, bring yourself to this present moment. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. Allow yourself to check in on your environment. There's been a lot of stuff and drama going on recently. Take a look at, what's on your right and what's on your left. Maybe check in on how you're feeling. And set an intention for the outcome of this call for you. A question answered, maybe. Feeling heard. Feeling not so lonely or scared, knowing that you are part of an amazing high performance community internationally by the looks of it. So write it down and give yourself a moment. Big breath in, exhale. And remember, we have to breathe through times of adversity for sure. If we don't breathe, all the CO2 gets caught up in our lungs, can't breathe. And then sometimes this excess adrenaline gets stuck. And then it leaves something behind in our bodies called cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And that's not good for us athletes and competitive people. Okay, you have your intention? Cool. All right. Vanessa, I think we're good to go.
Right. I heard a rumor you might have one more thing to read.
I do. I have a poem. For those of you who know me, I do love my giant glasses. It's a poem. It's funny. I also believe in, things happening for a reason at the exact right time. This morning I woke up, Tuesday, March 24th, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I get an email from my coach. And he says to me, and it's a poem by Albert Camus. So I'm going to read it to you. Okay, and if you want a copy of it, we'll for sure get it to you. If you want a copy of this, put your name in the little chat box and with your email or something, and we'll get it to you. So if I get a little bit clamped, I do tend to emote.
If you cry, I'll put on a poll. It'll be fine.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. All right. My dear, in the midst of hate, I found there was within me an invincible love. In the midst of tears, I found there was within me an invincible smile. In the midst of chaos, I found there was within me an invincible calm. And I realized through it all that in the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. And that makes me happy. For it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me, there is something stronger, something better, something bigger, pushing right back. Albert Camus. So thank you to my coach, Blaine, for that this morning. It's what I needed to get myself grounded for today. I'm happy to share it with you.
Thank you, Steffany.
I didn't cry, Vanessa.
There's a first time for everything. Okay, you guys are involved in this next part. So if you missed the very beginning, I mentioned that all the polls are anonymous. So when we ask you these questions, don't worry, we're not going to see who's answering what. We're just going to see a percentage. But the question is, what is your area of performance excellence? So are you a coach? Are you a parent? Are you a hockey athlete, a figure skating athlete, a ringette athlete? Which area do you fall into? Because all of those involve performance excellence. So Steffany, we're seeing a lot of coaches and a lot of figure skating athletes and an even number of parents, hockey athletes, and ringette athletes. So very cool, very cool.
Very cool.
I'll share the results if you like.
No, that's great. Well, oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Yay, figure skating athletes. Woo!
Athletes in general.
Well, performance excellence truly is the journey that we've been on, Vanessa, Mary-France, Patrice, Ben and Jadene. We've been on a journey since at least 2001 when this started with a conversation. And really what coaching is and what this environment and this circle is that we've created is a conversation. It's a conversation that you can be safe, you can be fully expressed, you get to figure out who you are in the face of adversity. And that's what this is. So thank you for sharing who you are in this, and just know that we honor that, and we want to be a resource, and we want to be a source for you in this next journey that we're on together.
Absolutely. And can't we just say that we're talking to you as athletes, but these skills that you learn are unbelievable when navigating life, just life, you know, and the things that you get to learn as an athlete that are through a sport that you love and competition that you love is going to give you an upper hand when it comes to navigating real life situations.
It's true. And you know, what I always say is that life is a team sport. You know, it really is. And if you don't see life as a team sport yet, wait 5 minutes. You will.
Wait 5 minutes.
Well, you know, hockey is obviously a team sport. Ringette is obviously a team sport. You know, but figure skating, for example, it's not obvious because many times you're out there by yourself, one-on-one with your coach, one-on-one with, you know, the people that are out there judging you, maybe an ice dance team, a pair team. But what's the issue that I'm seeing right now is that we're not inviting the conversation to expand into who's on your team. And if you're going to enter the arena of adversity, for example, which we are right now in life, but it's no different than a competition or a tournament or a road trip or a national title or an Olympic Games, there's always something that's going to happen. Something big is going to happen on the way to the Olympic Games. If it doesn't happen on the way to the national title or to the Stanley Cup, it might just happen there.
That's right. So let's talk about that. What is adversity? That's a big word.
Yeah, write it down. Adversity. You know, it's something that is, for me, is a gift. Is that I know when I'm about to go to another level in business or in my own personal development, that sometimes it's adversity or something that happens that makes me cry or just knocks me to my knees. Something bad, something devastating, something that hurts, something that we can't control. That's really what adversity is. And when you think about adversity in a sense, there really is an opportunity for personal development inside adversity. When, you know, I always, excuse my language, but if stuff hasn't happened to you, yet it will. So my commitment is to create an environment where I'm always manufacturing adversity if it's not really happening. Because the skills that get developed individually and in a team environment that have, or for example, people that have the same values or are committed to the same outcomes, adversity becomes a gift. Because if we don't understand that there are so many pearls of wisdom, if we turn to look inside, adversity is something that's happening that we can't control. We're feeling right now in this environment, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling out of control. So where I go is, okay, what can I control? What is in my control? Well, right now, I can be looking at what the lessons are. I can look at the benefits in the adversity. I could even maybe find, I don't know, some creativity, Vanessa, for example.
Well, wouldn't that be interesting?
Well, a little funny sidebar story. Vanessa, weren't you the least creative person on the team at one point?
Well, I sure believe that. That was my story for a long time.
It really was. And as you bumped into, sorry?
I'm not a choreographer. I'm just an undercover hockey player. Boom.
Yeah, but you know what? You're the choreographer of your life.
That's true.
You've been through a lot of adversity recently, my partner, my friend. And when you opened up to really harnessing and engaging the lessons, feeling the feelings, being present to what is. When this thing happened a week ago, you went into overdrive. You created 13 new programs, bunch of new webinars. I'm working my butt off and having a blast.
I know, I'm making you work harder than you ever had in your life. But you know what? Ariel is at every one of them. So yeah, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. So creativity is another thing that pops up. The other thing, and interesting with adversity, if you really want to learn how to make friends with it, is that the opposite of that is that you find out who your friends are. You find out really, truly who's your people, you know, who's your tribe, who's going to be there when stuff hits the fan. So that's the third gift in adversity. The first one is figuring out what you do, how you are, what you value, and that there's a lot of strength inside of you. The second is that you find a sense of creativity inside of you that you never knew you had. And it only can come out with adversity. It's the only way. And the third thing is you truly find out who's your people. And when you find out who your people are, stick with them. Because people will have to leave if they're not in alignment with your values anymore. Because they're going on their journey and they have to attract who they need to attract, people on their journey. So it's a really important time, regardless of what happens, it's an important time to settle into who you are and then learn the gifts that you need to learn. Creativity.
I don't think we should step over that, Steffany. There's two things. Let's just reiterate a little bit. So first is self. So self-discovery, self-awareness. Second is inspiration, creativity, inspiration. Mm-hmm. What is the inspiration in this current moment? And the third is your team, or as Seth Godin calls it, your tribe.
The tribe.
Right? And that's your friends, your physical friends. That's currently your social media friends as well, and you're connecting through Zoom friends, right? Very cool.
And there's one more point, is that one of the things that's been the most helpful for me through every single adversity I've been through, and there's been a few. I want you to look at your own journey and your own adversities and not compare them to other people's. We all handle things differently, but the truth is you find out your inner strength when you go through an adversity and you embrace it and you start to bring it in, because we really can't control it. But if you look at it as a learning and as a teaching or a coachable moment, I call them, then you'll really see that the courage that comes out will give you that ability and that commitment to stand on your own when the next one comes, or stand on your own when somebody challenges your values. So when that happens, and if you're like me, I'm an outlier as far as Malcolm Gladwell calls them, I'm an outlier. You know, I was working in hockey when I shouldn't have been working in hockey. I was working as a performance coach in ice dance when I wasn't a certified figure skating coach at the time. I was at the boards at the Olympics with an amazing couple in Torino, and bam, and adversity happen. But if you're not trained for it, or if you're not in the conversation of something could go wrong, worst case scenario, what if? Like if you're not already in that conversation, you're in a little fantasy that things are going to be perfect. I set this goal and it's going to be easy, rainbows and unicorns, then you're, somewhat delusional. It's not going to happen that way.
I have to pop in quickly and I love that you brought up the sport analogy, because that is truly, I think, a myth about sport, right, Steffany? That, if you set your goal and you visualize, then it's just going to happen in a smooth way. And that's what we've been training for all this time, was expecting, like you said earlier, the thing along the way that's going to bump into us, right?
Mm-hmm. And who do we have to be to embrace that? And then either sidestep it, pull it in, use it, find the magic in it, and then move forward. Because if we don't do that, then we're like everybody else. And the courage to be a champion at this level means we have to be able to embrace adversity and then give ourselves the opportunity to figure out who we need to become. Because that adversity happened for a reason. It's like a test. It's why we get tested. It's why in sport, it's why we go to tournaments, why we go to competitions. It's why we, put ourselves in this arena of judgment that's excruciating. Mia, bring it on. Bring it on. Because you know what? You can't really hurt me if I understand who I am in the face of adversity. And I'm standing true and committed to what it is that I've prepared. I've had the opportunity for the last few years to work deeply with an amazing group of athletes through Quantum Speed, through Skating Success, and through Ice Academy of Montreal. And we've been through some adversities, as a team, as individuals. And each one of those athletes has such a special place in my heart, because when you connect heart to heart with somebody and you honor where they're at, who they are, then the space that gets created is the truth. And when truth bubbles up and you can handle it and deal with it head on, and I always say, give the monster a name. Give the monster a name. What is it you're afraid of? What fears are you bumping into? Because in times of adversity, there are a ton of nuggets and a ton of monsters. Right? So we want to give them a name. Remember in Monsters, Inc., the big blue guy and, that's hiding under the bed, and they just gave him a name. What's his name? Like Mike or something? It's called Mike. Give him a name and it takes the power away. So the work that we do with athletes and all of our businesses and our companies is really shining a light on how we can maximize when adversity does happen, and that we're not going to let it shut us down. Thanks, Jade. I appreciate that.
I love it, Steffany. Let's get everybody involved in another poll. So now that you know what adversity is, here's the poll. Why is it important to you to understand how to harness adversity? I'm a leader in my world and want to stay grounded. I don't want to understand. I just want it to go away. I'm an athlete who can't compete right now and it's driving me crazy. I'm driven to find something positive in this situation. I'm having a hard time with what's going on in the world right now, and I need some tools to help. So most people are saying, I'm driven to find something positive. Super cool. Some are saying leadership. Some are saying, I'm an athlete who can't compete right now, and it's driving me crazy. Dude, I get it. And I'm having a hard time with what's going on in the world, which is just true. And thank you for your honesty, you guys. Really, really appreciate it. So Steffany, why don't we give people some real nuts and bolts here? So we've got adversity. We know we're supposed to face it. Mm-hmm. How do we do that? That all sounds cool.
I know, right? Well, face it, embrace it, all those things. Years ago, not long ago, we studied with Dr. Paul Stoltz. All of us in Skating Success, Quantum Speed, in the Skate Tech group of companies. We had the privilege of working with a Harvard professor, Dr. Paul Stoltz, who wrote The Adversity Advantage. He also wrote a book called The Adversity Quotient. And it shone a light back in the day that, adversity is something that can be harnessed. It's something that we can't avoid, but if we keep trying to avoid it, then we're not going to grow. So there's IQ, so there's the intelligent quotient we all kind of know about, you know, grow up, what's your IQ, how smart you are, that kind of stuff. And then over time, well, I was in university early in the 1800s or whenever it was, I studied the EQ, which is the emotional quotient, which is where a lot of my work is grounded in. As much as it's called mental performance training, I'm truly a specialist in emotional quotient. And then as we studied with Dr. Stoltz, we learned about the adversity quotient, which is how to navigate adversity, harness it, embrace it, and use it to your advantage. And it's a journey. It means you have to, first of all, understand what you value. Understand what you value, meaning right now, if you're training as an athlete, right now your physical, your intellectual, your emotional strength, and your spiritual or your social strength are the most important things that you need to focus on right now. And when you go back inside and focus on those things, whether you're an athlete or a coach, and understand that we do, all of us share those values, that the first step into handling or harnessing adversity is to connect back to your values. So where are you at physically? You know, do I want to lay on the couch for the next 5 weeks? No, I don't. Okay, so what do I need to do to stay in shape? Well, it's going to be tough to get back on the ice right away. So let's do some off ice stuff. Let's create something. And then check in intellectually. What are you reading? I'm just reading negative news on Facebook. I'm just watching news. I'm putting into my mental capacity, into my intelligence, all this negativity. You don't have to. You don't need to know 5 minutes by 5 minutes what's happening every second out in the world. Why? Schedule your distractions. Schedule, if you want to go on Facebook, you want to go on Insta, you want to go and check in with the news, great, be responsible, but schedule it. I always schedule my distractions. If I need to flip through a fashion magazine, I schedule it. The other thing is to understand where you're at emotionally. We all have an emotional journey. We're all developing and maturing our emotional quotient and who we are and how we process what's happening out in the outer world inside. So we have a responsibility to make sure that we're managing our emotional energy, the highs and the lows. One of my other coaches, Dr. John DeMartini, taught me that after a high, there's always a low. And after a low, you can expect the high. But most of us want the high all the time. And that's really hard on our emotional growth and our emotional energy. So managing that and understanding how you can actually flatten out the curve, here we go, and enjoy life and still be excited and inspired and fired up, but not seeking the high. And the last one is our spiritual energy or our social energy, depending on your belief systems. We all need community. Social energy, shared energy, allows us to give us the opportunity to share confidence. And I always say to all the athletes I work with, that confidence isn't actually a thing. It's a made up thing that parents want their kids to have, so that, we feel that they're going to do well in the world. Well, the truth is, confidence is an action. So in your social energy, confidence is shared. If you surround yourself with people that are scared, are negative, are not of like mind, who make you feel awful about yourself, put you in challenging situations, that's not a powerful social energy. So those are your pies, your physical strength and power. Take care of your body. Keep working out, stretch, yoga. Create an opportunity, like a Zoom call with we've got an opportunity for people to do a dance class with Ava, and they've got a hip hop class with Sam, and the coaches are all engaged in helping you to make sure that you're engaged. Same thing with Quantum Speed, Hockey Fit, Jadene, figure skating, Rise and Shine. So we all rose to the adversity, got creative, honored our values, and then put it out to the world through a contribution. So that is the journey through adversity.
So let's check in with people. Where is your level of fear right now, you guys? Where is your level of stress and fear? So 1 would be 0 and 4 would be max. Just quickly, first instinct, where are you at? So again, thanks for your honesty, you guys. This is very, very helpful because it really shows us where to go with this conversation. So we've got a lot of people saying about a 2, a few saying 0, and a few also at the 3 and 4 range. So we've got a good cross section, but I think the majority of people are sitting around too. I wonder if that would have been the same though if we started with this. I mean, some of it is that Steffany, your voice is just so calming, you know?
That's so great. Well, you know, you got to work with what you got, right?
You
I
do.
always say that when I'm speaking or whatever, I go, you know what? I'm only good at two things, skating and talking. So I got to find a way to maximize and create a job out of that. Because when you really start to understand that you don't really have to be good at everything, but find out what it is you're good at, so that when adversity comes or you know, stuff comes down the pipe or something hits the fan, that you know what you can rely on. And that's what I can rely on, is my creativity, but also my ability to talk and my ability to skate.
So Steffany, let's just play along for fun for a second here, and let's pretend that everybody's at a 4. So let's say, honestly, everybody, we've all been there. We've been at a 4 before, high level of stress, high level of anxiety. Talk me through it. What do I do? Give me some tools, like 2 or 3 things that are concrete. Do this.
Okay, so if you notice, it's not an even number. It's not 1 to 10, or it's not 0 to 5 or whatever. You notice there's no middle point. That's why when you do a poll like this, you're forced to decide one way or another. And I really appreciate the fact that you committed either to a 2 or a 4 or a 3 or something. So if you're at a 4, for example, and you're redlining, I call it. So when you're driving in a car in a standard and the RPMs are right to the hard right, and it's in the red line, that is when sometimes we see red. That's where that term comes from. So we can't hear things. We can't appreciate or acknowledge something, maybe input or feedback that we're getting from loved ones. We are truly, truly redlining. And when that happens, there is a way to walk it back, but it does mean that you have to have a commitment to a high level of self-awareness. And when I'm redlining, I know, first of all, I'll walk around my house and whether scream or hit a pillow or whatever, because I can't break it. I can't get it out myself. So I have to do something cathartic, something physical. I have what's that thing called on my deck?
I think it's called an elliptical.
Elliptical.
I'm working with you here.
Yeah, on my deck, and a rebounder on my deck. And then out in the back, I have a bike, and I have the ability to lift weights. So I have to get it out physically. So if you know in your pies.
You're telling athletes to go and do something physical?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. That one's easy. Thank you. Thank you.
That's the first thing, but it has to be a reminder, because that's not the first thing we want to do. The first thing in my experience, we want to go under the covers, or we want to, binge Netflix. We want to go into an escape. It's not healthy. If you want to escape, schedule it. A full day weekend gaming or Netflix on purpose, intentionally, because it will then support the rest of your values or your pies. But for athletes, coaches, people who understand the power of our bodies, we need our bodies. If we don't take care of our bodies, you guys, where are we going to live? We don't live in our houses. We live in our bodies. So to connect to that and be that person that goes, oh, what am I doing? I need help. I need to reach out. I am redlining. I am maxed out. I'm at a 4. I'm freaking out. That level of anxiety also means you're living in the fear of the unknown in the future. Anxiety.
Can I share a little nugget there, Steffany?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I read another book not long ago, and it really helped me to understand escapism. And it just made sense to me. So what I noticed was it's called this book called Stillness is Key by Ryan Holiday. And he talks about the difference between leisure and escapism. So leisure, going for a walk for leisure, doesn't mean having ear pods in and going as fast as you can. A leisurely walk is actually a time where your brain can keep up with your body. And that's leisure. Or painting is leisure, or doing something that you wouldn't normally do is leisure. However, escapism is where you don't have to feel your feelings. Leisure actually allows you to go through it, but escapism is a different thing. So I'm not sure if that's helpful, but it was really to me, because you use that word escape, and I think it just really resonates with me to understand the difference.
You know, we can't, it doesn't matter who we are. We, you know, everywhere we go, everywhere I go, there I am. So I can't escape myself. You know, you can numb yourself with whatever external food or alcohol or TV or music. Some, you know, I had the privilege of working with rock stars and people who make a living and making millions of people happy with their music. And what they, in my experience, what they all had in common was a deep, deep sadness because they couldn't get what they needed from that. So they went external and they tried to escape and do different things and draw negativity into themselves. So sometimes I was able to help and sometimes I wasn't. It was too far gone or, you know, whatever. But escapism is something that we as human beings are drawn to do. Did you happen to see the explanation about when bears hibernate, why they hibernate?
No, tell me.
Oh, I probably won't get it right, but you can probably Google it. They hibernate because they know that they need to rest, and it's time that there's not enough food out there, so they're going to go in and sleep and find a place just to be quiet and settle and get themselves ready and grounded for when there is food and when it is time for them. So I was thinking about that recently, is just how powerful that is when you know it's time to go inside. You know it's time to rest. And I think the people on this call, especially knowing from around the world by the looks of it, who's on this call, you wouldn't be on this call if you didn't understand that this time in the world right now, there's nothing we can do. It just might be time to rest. So instead of pushing against the adversity in the sense of trying to find a place of being within it, how about just doing the opposite? Not the obvious. Do the opposite. Find a place within yourself. Start there.
Well said. Well said. One more poll. What is your biggest fear today?
Good one.
Is it the unknown? Is it that me or my loved ones will be getting sick with COVID-19? Oops, wasn't supposed to say it. I won't be able to make money or pay my bills. That I'm not strong enough emotionally to get through the self-isolation or other. And if you choose to put it in chat, I won't see your name. But what is your biggest fear? There's lots, Steffany, coming in around the unknown. Everybody's commented on at least one, but the unknown is really overwhelmingly 50% or more are saying the unknown. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
How do you deal with something when you don't even know what it is?
Well, I guess in many regards, the illusion is that we do know what it is. We don't know what tomorrow is going to hold in any regard. So that's the illusion on so many levels. The fear of the unknown is real, but the unknown can just be something that you're creating today, because we don't know what's going to happen. You know, in any level, we don't know what's going to happen. The results of an Olympic Games, we don't know what's going to happen, you know, and the results of anything. So cut yourself some slack.
Yeah, there's some brave souls here that put some other things in here. So thinking I can't do anything. So feeling helpless. Yeah. Yeah. Not knowing when it will end. This person's dealing with school for their little one, and her husband is essential service. So bills are paid, but worried about my kid. And parents, man, we hear you. We hear you. That I'm trying to do too much and not in a strong enough place mentally and emotionally to get it all done. Ooh, good one. The school year, upset about the school year, worried about a house in Montreal, worried about losing my physical shape that I've worked relentlessly to build. Thank you for that one. That is incredibly key. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So do you want to address a couple of those ones?
I do. And let's take a breath. And just know that what you're feeling is real. Be true to that. And when we take the power off of that fear, we can replace it with something that we can do, something that we can control. something that you can do. Keep your body in shape. Will it be in a world champion shape? No. But you know what? It can be pretty damn good. Give yourself a time during the day. Connect with your pies. Give yourself the chance to check in. You know, if you're in a different city and you had to go away, you have resources. You have people that will go over and check on your stuff. You have people, you have a community. And I think, you know, with our quantum speed, with our crew and we're working, we said, you know, our community, that's our immunity. You have a community. And that's when circling back to figure skating, we're teaching figure skaters, ice dancers, figure skating coaches, that you have a community, you have people. It's not just competitive. We make each other better by competing with each other from a place of commitment. And if you get better, I get better. So trust yourself, slow down, cut yourself some slack. Know that you're already in a place of support, and then reach out. You have to take action. You have to reach out. Every single one on this call has our email addresses. You know how to find us. If you want to put your name in the chat thingy and go, this is what I need help with. I don't have a whole lot going on in the next couple of weeks either. So as a resource, my commitment to quantum speed skating success, I said at Ice Academy Montreal, all of our businesses, is that this is what I'm built for. I want to help you discover what you're built for.
Well, that sounds lovely. Thank you.
That's amazing. Steffany, I just want to add on to that, because I think this is part of our training, right? When you said at the beginning, I'm built for this, you didn't just show up that way. You trained yourself to be built for this, to be able to harness adversity. And part of navigating chaos is being able to trust yourself within it. And that's what you've taught both Vanessa and I over and over, and the athletes that you work with. And I don't know about you, but a lot of the athletes I work with this year, one of their goals was emotional management.
Wow.
Timing to another piece of their training, right?
Wow. Thanks, Jadene. That makes a ton of sense, and I appreciate you saying that, because when you understand who you're becoming, it's like we're never finished. Right? This journey of a champion, it's like ongoing for the rest of my life. And one of the hardest things I had to learn over time through the journey of being in the NHL is that they didn't want me. They didn't want me there. I didn't fit. But I was so laser beam focused on my contribution that at first I didn't notice. So they would put adversities up in front of me. They would challenge me. They would cut my skate laces. They put shaving lotions in my skates. They hid back in the day, my boombox when I was, skating to music and stuff. And I'm in this. They would order a tracksuit for me. I'm a ladies' medium. They would get me in men's extra large, and then I would just put it on and go out there with my ponytail and my coffee breath and no makeup, and I would just give my gift. And I was relentless in it. And then when I started to notice that I was chipping away at a history and an environment, yes, they didn't want me. But then they realized I was looking after myself. I was true to my values. I wasn't looking for a date. I wasn't, sleeping around. I wasn't looking to be famous. I just wanted to help athletes get faster. That's what I wanted. So when I stayed true to that, the adversity started to soften and the acceptance started to come in. But I think had I surrendered to that and succumbed and cried every night, sometimes I would go home and cry with my husband and say, these guys hate me. And he's like, yeah, so what? Off you go, get back in there. So when you see me, with Ben, when we were on our world journey, or with Mary France and Patrice, we have a famous line that they know if they're listening, get out there. That's my deepest line. Get the F out there. Off you go. You've done all the work. Off you go. Mm-hmm. So there is a place where I know with my clients that I am certain. My certainty can squish your doubt. So I know how you've been trained. Everyone on this call, if I've worked with you, I know how you've been trained on the ice, off the ice, emotionally, mentally, physically. So I trust that. When you're uncertain, share my certainty, share my confidence and love and belief in you. And that's what the difference is with the environments that we're creating for athletes at this level. And that's why these seminars and these webinars are going to be so important going forward, is that we're going to continue to build a community of like-minded people, people who maybe we don't have anything in common. You know, I remember saying back in the day when, you know, after Ben was retiring and Marie-France and Patrice had their magical Olympic moment that created a whole new trajectory in their life, the fall, we call it, that was devastating for everybody, for them especially. But they were prepared. On some level, the work that they were doing prepared them for what was next. The skills, they weren't obvious at the time. And we were discovering it as we went and as we grew. But ultimately, that adversity locked in, for me, my commitment to changing how athletes are trained, to make sure they are understanding who they need to be after sport, who they need to be if something happened, if something stopped them on the screeching halt in the middle of their journey, they're going to be all right because they got the skills. They understand who they are, the values that they're building. So that's why this conversation about diversity is so important to happen right now in our environment. We're all in our homes. We get to slow down, get to check in, maybe look at things differently, read a Ryan Holiday book, maybe read Paul Stoltz's book, join the coaches circle. I'm so proud of you, by the way. That's great.
So Steffany, what if we did like a little exercise?
Okay.
So one of the best things I've learned from you is to respond versus react, and to step back to become the observer. So I really appreciate everybody's participation. There's some really, really important things that people are saying here about their fears. They're saying they're fearing loneliness. So we've heard helplessness, we've heard loneliness. We're hearing fear that nothing can replace the ice. Off-ice training is on, don't worry about shape, but being so long on the ice, off the ice is new. So how do we handle and how do we navigate my brain? I love this person asked that question. How do I handle and navigate my own brain? So can you take us through an exercise of becoming the observer? So if you go first person and you say, I am this, can you go with that?
Okay, I can. So thanks for that. Well, it's super powerful to understand that as much as we think we're going through this and we think we're having this experience, the truth is that it's also just a conversation in our head based on memories and based on things that we think are true. So what I would invite you to do is get all squishy in your seat, sit back, let the chair support you for a second, or the bench or whatever, and slow your breathing down. I want you to keep your eyes open, but I want you to take a look up and to the left, your left, that's my right, up and to the left. And I want you to see and visualize, if you can, a TV screen, a really large screen. And I want you to see that screen as completely blank. And when you're looking at it and you're sitting in your chair and you're comfortable and you're letting the chair support you, feel the connection between you and the chair. And know that you're supported right now, right here, right now. And when you look up at that screen, you go, I wonder whose life that is. And you start, when you're ready, to look up and project yourself and your life, maybe your program, maybe your amazing rhythm dance, maybe it's your free dance, maybe it's your last competition, maybe it's your last tournament, maybe it was the World Championships, maybe it was a ringette game that you won, minor hockey week. And you start to see it as something outside of you. And you become the observer. Because the truth is, we all have that opportunity. We can see ourselves on video right now. We can see ourselves on YouTube. It's up to us mentally and perceptively to create a disconnect from what you think is the truth to what's possible. So there's an opportunity when you're looking up and projecting yourself on the screen. It's called disassociation. We're so committed and connected thinking this is the truth. This is the only truth that there is. It's the physical body. It's not true. This is one part of it. So when you're committed and connected to the fact that the physical body is, yes, doing the work, and yes, we need to maintain it and honor it and connect to it, you can't disassociate, in the way and still get the smell of the Zamboni or the coffee or the popcorn or whatever, the music. But the exercise is called disassociation. So then you start to realize that, that's a body. That's a slap shot. That's a wrister. Oh, wow, look at that. That's a twizzle. A twizzle. I'm not the twizzle. I'm not the slap shot. It's an action. It's something I am doing, something I can create outside of me. So when you think about who you are as an individual, as a person, as an athlete, there's things that will happen. Think of an injury, for example. If you have a sore hip or sore back, or you've just created the best shape of your life. Yes. But if you own that and you say, my hip, my back, my shoulder, my body, me, mine, it locks it in a way that doesn't give the opportunity in times like this, when we have the opportunity to rest or to disassociate with something, to find the answers. Because sometimes we're just too into it. We're too deep because we're so into this is mine. Soften into what is, into being the observer of your life every once in a while. Cut yourself some slack. See where, wow, I just watched myself on YouTube and I looked really great. Boy, I'd been really hard on myself. I thought I sucked in that outfit or that program or that game. So the disassociation, having the opportunity to observe and to notice. We're so judgy. We judge ourselves so hard in this society right now. So take some time over the next little while and just observe and notice. Disassociate. Play the game. If you need more information on that, I can give you tons of information. It's all really about understanding who you're being, and that a lot of times this just isn't real. What we think isn't real. Our feelings can lie. Trust me.
Thank you, Steffany. That was wonderful. So we're coming up to the end of our time, and I just wanted to take a moment. We just had an amazing Simon, I hope I'm saying your name properly, but Simon says you can take the skater off the ice, but you can't take the ice off the skater.
That's so true.
That is so good. That just made me smile, and I loved it. Yeah. So he said I could share it with you guys.
Thank you, because it's what we have all in common, is that we have something that's so special. But if we hang on to it too tight, or if we think it's our identity, then it will actually continue to create some adversity for us. Because if we identify that as who we are and not just seeing it as a part of us, part of our vehicle, part of our journey. One of the things I'm so blessed to be able to work with so many athletes, and with hockey players, I did a seminar a couple weeks ago, and I said, hockey's a vehicle, sport is a vehicle for you to get what you want in your life. The sport itself can't be the end game. It can't be. It has to be the journey, because you can't love something so much that can't love you back. What is it in sport that you're getting? What is it from the ice that you get? The feeling, the smell, the energy, the camaraderie. Truthfully, it's not the sport. The sport itself is both hockey, ringette, figure skating, bocce ball. It's not about the sport, It's about who you get to become on a journey, and that's who you want to fall in love with. And love the sport because it gives you the journey to become that, because you're good at it, because I know who you are, and release yourself from the expectation that it's about the sport. Give yourself this opportunity to see who you get to become during this time.
When how lucky are we to have these skills, to be honing these skills in sport? There's so many people in our world right now that have never even heard these words. And so I would just want to thank you, Steffany, because what you're doing is making a huge impact. And I know that all of us are really grateful for your time and for your words.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you, and for your creativity to push me to do this. And for Jadene and for you and Marie-France and Patrice and Roman to open up to all. Now I'm going to cry. everywhere I get to make a contribution is because of you guys. It's not about me. It's about you and the doorways that you're opening to the people that you're going to connect to next. So think about your performance, skaters, players, everyone on this, coaches, parents, the gift that you're giving to the world through your performance, through your connection to your authentic self. You're allowing people to feel something because of what you're doing. And there's nothing better than that.
Thank you, Steffany.
You're welcome.
So here you go. We are going to ask that each one of you put in the chat one thing that you're grateful for today. That's how we're going to finish up the day, is what is one thing that you're grateful for in the moment today? Wow, Nicole, well, sorry, someone just said, wish I heard this when I retired from skating and moved on. I was so stuck around skating. Thank you for saying that. Love, 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 Steffany. My circle of support is the grateful. What is? She's grateful for what is. Thank you. My I am family. Wonderful. That I was able to hear this. Thank you. What can I become through sport is a powerful message. Wonderful. Grateful for each other. Thank you for the inspirational words. I needed this. Family support and my Q team support. Cool. All of my coaches and teammates over the years. Connection to others. Grateful for the time that it's given to us in a world that goes so fast. Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
It's a nice way to think about it. Not having anyone in my family being sick. Very good. Grateful for this I am family. Grateful for the new outlook on the current situation and much needed inspiration. Thank you for reframing and providing a new perspective. Grateful for smart, thoughtful people. Grateful for time for myself. Wonderful. Grateful for the support from the I am team and family. I'm thankful for this call. I'm grateful for people like us to help us develop our awareness. The community coming together so well during these times. I'm grateful for your words. Thank you guys for your time, Steffany and Vanessa. Like you, grateful for the advice from today's meeting to help me navigate myself. You three and the whole crew for loving and supporting me unconditionally. Time with my family and realizing that time with my second family, I am, is so special. And the health of my family back home and for my family on this side of the world. Awesome. The community we have and are creating to stay strong through everything. Grateful for this connection, inspiration, and your perspective. Life will improve when you take a risk and spread your wings. I feel so much more confidence to reach out to people. Thank you. We're going to end it with that one, you guys. Thank you very much for being here. We will have other MindSHIFT seminars. The next one is on April 1st, and it is not, we're not fooling you. It's not an April Fool's. We are going to have a webinar on that date, and another will be scheduled very shortly. So we'll make sure that you guys all know, but please reach out, put your name in the chat. I have a couple people that want to know about the book club. Book club's next Tuesday, and that's a fun way to get together again. So I'll make sure that you guys get that information too, especially if you put your name in chat. So thank you, Steffany. Anything you want to finish up with?
No, I just am really honored and grateful to be here, and knowing that there's people here from all over the world, from China and from Norway and from country USA and all over the world, that are connected heart to heart, and know that this time, this too shall prepare me.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Jadene.
Well, it occurred to me, those comments, you guys, are just, they're so heartfelt, and I feel your hearts. And you two ladies, I'm so connected to you guys beyond words here. But honestly, without this weird scenario, we wouldn't have created this amazing opportunity. And so I think it's just, this is a manifestation of what is and what is possible if we choose to reframe, as you've been speaking about tonight.
And find the brilliance in the adversity. And next time we'll talk more about chaos, because, you know, managing chaos, athletes are great at that. I always say goalies and ice dancers are the best drivers, because they know how to manage chaos of the stuff coming at them all the time.
Please make a video with goalies and ice dancers.
I know, right?
Hello.
Just think. Okay, everyone.
On there.
Love you. I can't believe how many people are on this call. I'm so blessed. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Jadene. And thanks for everyone on this call. And we'll talk to you soon.
Take care, everyone. Stay healthy.
Yes.
Bye.